Vykker Laboratory.
Howdy. I need a little better coordination on that, but it's nice to have a logo that plays, and I'm really starting to get the hang of things. It's good to see you again. There, now. And the next thing is... There we go. You can see the devices here. This is the newest edition. When I first thought about doing this type of setup, I did not think it would be possible for me to fill this amount of workspace with enough devices that actively do things. And it's really nice to be able to have stuff that I can use for my creative endeavors. I wanted to break away from a computer workspace so bad. This Digitone II, when I discovered these Elektron devices from following... He calls himself the last DJ. He's in the United Kingdom, I believe. He'd make these really loud, obnoxious, but epic bass sounds off the syntax. You hear me clicking it because I have a great microphone. That's good and bad. But there we go. Yeah. There you go. That's how much fun this thing is, alright? That you can just start going to town just like that. That's the syntax that's a little out of frame over here. And then it's the digitac. Probably be a little louder on each of these. And that's the other thing. I'm still working out my volume levels on everything. Just a little bit. It's been testing out different workspaces for different things. But as much as the Digitac 2 is a sampler, I will probably use this very percussively, because I can do a lot of custom percussive things and then mess around with the different lengths and times and effects with them. The syntax I hope to get some really awesome strange sounds out of. And then the digitone is going to be just my musical spaceship. And now I have the MIDI hooked up on each of these. This will be sending the master signal right now, eventually, once I have everything programmed a little bit better. That's clipping a little in OBS, but I suppose that's pretty normal. That's why I love the Chaos Pad. That's over there out of range. That's my master effects processor. This Mackie 1202 VLZ3 mixer that I'm using is a step up from a regular DJ mixer. I don't have all the DJ functions, but I don't need them. These devices are so effects heavy and have so many different processing sequences inside of themselves. I feel like it's very easy to go crazy with them. One of the other things that I'm going to try to do with these, I'm developing my skills and talents with them. I want to get that out of the way. There's a variety of other people that have great tutorials out there that I'm learning a thing or two from, and I hope to talk about them more and give them credit as I've actually pick up the skills that they're showing and sharing. Main objective today is to work on this Digitone 2 and try to develop some crazy other tones on it. The one thing that I was a little disappointed about when I received this as a used piece of equipment, I went to project, load project, and I had to create just my main file, a daily grind, for my laboratory right there. It's exactly what it says it is. A bunch of patterns that I'm just going to try to sync up with the other two devices I already have with their daily grind project and the different patterns and banks that they have. I'm going to make sure I get my vocabulary right as I go along. My brain is just recovering from a lot of different medical crap. Yes. There were no presets on here, even though I bought it used from Guitar Center, whereas the Syntac, when I bought that from Guitar Center used, that actually had a preset from there titled GC, and you could tell it was where different customers or even maybe the employees were developing their own creative processes and a few other things. The Digitone II, when I bought that used off of eBay, that had a variety of different things on here. I think there's even kits that I need to figure out how to get to. Techno hard practices. The EMX one that I created myself is exactly what it says it is, part of what I'm using now. Just great samples that I got off the EMX. But this Digitone II, I wanted something that I could add to these other two devices just to make sounds with. And 1, 2, and 9 are the only ones that I have anything developed. You can see them light up and trigger as they go along. What I hope to do is develop more sounds for these other tracks the other tracks in this pattern and in these other banks that I like. It doesn't do that other sound until it releases. That's one of the parts that I like about that. I managed to set up inside of it, and it's not even a lot going on. I'm only using one of the modulation oscillators to really do anything fancy, and it's all because of the way that wave is just that waveform and where it cuts off at. It took me a while to get used to using untraditional waveforms as opposed to just the sine wave. You can hear it makes a huge difference. It doesn't have that sound until I'm on this one. So let's go ahead and go crazy with the sound design of this device, since it doesn't have anything. The limitations are impossible, and that's part of the... There are no limitations. That's what I mean by that. The limitations are impossible. Where's this page? Yes. Oh, FM tone. So the machine page, there's 4 to choose from. I haven't done anything with Swarmer. I'm on number 10. Oh, this looks really fancy. Okay, it's just a 1 page for this. The FM tone, that has a lot of pages too. Just the synth button. Oh yeah, that's already nasty out of the box. And so many of my reactions are going to be genuine because this is just my first time really dealing with this. Ooh. Noise modulation. Swarm animation. And what is it? You can hold the button down. 50. It's right at 50. Oh, and it's right at 49. Not bad. Pretty good eyes still. I already have a lot of bass tones in this. I need to do something a little brighter. Oh, it's nice to get a bright tone that easy. Yeah, that's alright. Alright, what can I turn that into? And that's the only thing there is on there to do about it. The trigger parameters will make a big difference once I actually design the sound a little bit more, because I can design it as much as I want, but if I don't have the trigger parameters set up properly, it's not actually going to produce the sound that I've designed. That's filter. I don't have a lot going on with that yet. Amplitude, yes. Let's change this mode. Yup. Here we go. I got a little too loud there for a bit. Hope that didn't annoy anyone too much. Alright. And not much else on the amplitude. You give the amplitude reset. Yeah, that makes a difference. I'm not sure if I want that on or off yet. That might eventually go off. So just putting it into the right a little bit makes it just that much more distant. It's only 25. And there you go. Just that 17, putting that to the right. And let's do modulation before we jump to effects and filter. I mean, filter's important. We'll do that first. I take that back. Because I want to make it more of a high type. There we go. The other two knobs I got to get familiar with. There we go. This is the resonance. Does it make a little extra noise on that at first, having that attack so late on that? Or is that creating that extra movement? So, let's do something fancy with the modulator. What if we do the filter attack time as a modulation? Oh, it's just making some extra noise there. Unless that's just my heart beating. Could be. I was trying to listen there for a moment. I'm not sure if I hear a big change there. I could try to do something a little more. There you go. That's a bit of a difference. Let's add in some extra movement to the sound. for whatever reason, I had this strong desire to try to do more ambient sounds, longer sounds. And this is kind of up there towards what I wanted to make a little more of. Pardon me. Now this is one of those sounds that modulation in, well, I keep forgetting to just do it live sometimes. There's probably a lot I could do with that if I just start recording, moving it around, and maybe adding a couple extra notes. I'm surprised it sounds as well as it does with just the trigger length being 1/16. I guess it doesn't really make too much of a difference for that sound, how long it triggers for, unlike the sound I have on number 2, where that function makes a huge difference. Alright. So just a different octave on a note that triggers later in the sequence. Same chord sound there. Alright. Now, these effects do some really crazy stuff. I'm still getting used to the response that some of these produce. Definitely help it out. The sample rate redux is probably a function I'm gonna really overuse and fall in love with. It's a lot more than that to try out on this device. And I haven't even adjusted the real sound of any of these particular effects. That's one of the other things that I really like about these devices that it took me a while to discover, but I haven't gotten used to using the function a whole lot yet. The fact that they have their own filters and such on the effects, so you can really isolate what you're doing. See, there you go. That's more of a traditional sound on the reverb that I actually want to use. And makes the darker sound bounce an octave lower on that. A bit brighter still, but nothing too wrong with that. It's still a different tone when it triggers that second time and takes out a bit of that redundancy in what's going on. That's the main thing about music design overall. Not just sound design. Sound design is its own separate thing. I've always loved sound design, and it's been very difficult for me to separate that into music production, because I fell in love with this just from the ability to design sounds and the way that I truly believe that different melodies and such really do help people out in different ways. Even myself as a disabled individual, I find myself that this has really helped me just recover numerous times from the crazy failures that my body lets out on me. It's like a really warm spot. Wow. It triggers some extra volume. I want to see what happens if I leave it there. Alright. Get that sustain level a little lower. Yeah, there you go. That's the other thing that drives me crazy about music production, is there's so many different volume options. It's important that anything is loud enough to be heard, but because it's always the main objective is making things loud, there's a little almost too many options in the way of making things loud, and you really have to be careful how you manage it. I'm lucky I've been able to take care of my ears for as long as I have just by keeping volume low usually on different things. But once I got around to actually trying mastering tracks, that ended up being much, much more difficult because I was used to keeping things low. Oh yeah, here we go. Let's play with this page. Very important. These FM tone ones seem like they're the real... Ooh, yeah, this is the sauce of changing this. I can go up. How far up can I go? I won't press it. 16, alright. That's pretty wild. An XY mix? Oh, the Y is just that B, whereas the X is the B, the A, and the C. Huh. Okay, so this is controlling how much of... Oh, sorry. I was leaning in to look over the wire. I like what that's doing, but I'm trying to really hear a difference. Oh, detuning. I don't know about that, but we'll see. This is what I want, probably. Oh yeah, you start to give it some power with these envelopes. Oh man, some nice droning, yes. Oh wow. But now how to properly use that in a track. And that's just barely what it can actually do between the different functions that's been assigned to it. There you go, change the root note up. There's other ways to get a nice delay besides using just the delay effect on there. Some good routing always does a nice trick. Let's see, A delay, B delay. Oh, come on, wire. Eventually I'm going to get a longer USB-C cable that is the same speed and functionality as this one. The problem is when you buy one, they say they all do the same thing, but they actually don't. And that's the one thing that I'm trying to get over as far as that. It's always a little improvement here and there in order to get everything to work. Pitch A. Oh yeah, that's got to be a fun function to go back and forth in between. There you go, I gotta move it that way to get that. Oh, just making some noise there between the two. Yeah, I mean, it's nice that I can do stuff like that. Let's see what else I can put this in. The original goal was... Oh. That's a lot of options. Feedback mix. You know what? Let me scroll back up to the first one. Synth A delay. There we go. Synth B delay. Couldn't remember what I wanted to try. Now, let's see. A delays at those settings and try to do something different with the B delay. There you go. It's adding a slight texture, not as much as I would like. And getting used to setting these effectively is going to be the most important talent that I'm going to have to work out. Because I can tell all these settings wouldn't be here if they weren't worth a person's time. Oh, filter width. I bet that would be nice. But just because I set it there doesn't mean it's going to do anything particularly worthy. Trigger that only halfway short. So that makes the beginning of each trigger just a bit warmer. That's a nice tone. It fits into this kind of well. And this is the type of ambient stuff that I didn't feel like I was going to get out of Syntac or Digitac. Digitac, I know I can get it out of it, but because it's a sampler, I just feel like it requires more on the initial sample than what it's doing. It can do amazing stuff with what you put inside of it, but because it's a sampler and I have all the other production equipment, why am I going to rely on the device to do the entirety of the work when I know I can just put a quality sample in there and that'll be half of the work, and then I can make it even more epic from there. And it's just like this. I can easily make anything as epic as pretty much. Man. And that chaos pad is another thing that I'm still getting used to. And this is just a brief demonstration of what these devices can do, a little bit of my learning process, and the dedication I have to production. that the one that I got going? Yeah, what's this? Oh, so that's part of this problem. That's 4, and then this should be every 4 but 4. Ooh, that'll make that better. It's a bit better. That was too many kicks there for a while. Or the sound is kind of serving as a kick. I think it's just a shorter version of this to some extent. It is its own sound, but oh wow, look at all that. Is all that automation yet? How did I get to that? It's little things like that that I'm still figuring out. I have to read some manuals, learn from other people, but I wanted to make it a little more interesting with this accompanying it, possibly. How do I just copy all? There we go. E1 is copied. And so if I just happen to okay. Alright, that is that pattern, I believe. And whoops, not that. I want to go to tempo. And I'm moving the tempo up to 136. This should highlight that bass sound a little bit better, and once I get the MIDI running through it more efficiently with the menu, the cables are hooked up as you can see, but I gotta press some things in the menu for it to do what I want, because if I play if I press play on the syntax, it should activate all three, Digitac and Digitone. And so for what I want to do right now, that's the only thing missing, but that's okay. I will just have to press play synchronously. Is that all I want? 136, I believe so. Yeah! See, that kick makes it so much better. Even though it's the bass sound on the Digitone that I had doing that. The syntax is great because I'm going to get better kicks and stuff out of that faster because it's what it's designed to do. If your goal is what the device is designed to do, it just makes it that much more efficient. And even though all three of these are so powerful in their own right that you could spend months learning just about any one of them and putting on a good show, I really believe that having each one do its own task for you makes an even more incredible set. This is 12, 16 different sounds, 16 different loops and samples, and then 12 different percussive samples. My timing on something is a little messed up. Is it I have to look into that because I have the syntax set to a certain mode with the way the beats are playing. Running the same amount of steps on each device. You have this setup page and you can do it per track. I'm not sure if that's what's messing me up because the syntax is set per track right now. This is set up I think just globally per pattern is the proper way to say it, and that's the way I was doing things. I had seen some explorative videos doing a lot more with per track and getting better overall productions out of a single device. I may go back to doing per pattern to keep all three devices better synchronized, but I'll see how things go. And this is, I think, the extent of what I have to talk about right now, for the most part. Oh no, look at that. There we go, too. And no. That is the master button for exiting anything that you don't need. And yes is the master button for just saying I accept whatever's on the menu. Because it's a lot for me. That's the other thing I love. All three of these devices are very similar enough that learning about one of them allows you to apply what you've learned to the other. But they do have their differences. And I'm going to take some time to make sure that I learn about some of these differences and make sure that I put on more efficient productions. That's the primary goal. And eventually, it's going to be good enough that I'm going to take the stage. I had to build my own for now, and it's only going to get better. So please, enjoy your time, and thank you for watching.